Welcome to Lady Whistle Down Under. It's so great to have you both here.
It's great to be here.
Before we start, while we talk today, I'm going to be doing something I've been practicing, which is my Penelope listening face when she hears gossip. And I would love that if you want to participate in that as well, because it's a little bit like hears gossip. And I would love that if you want to participate in that as well, because it's a little bit like
You're going to put me out of a job.
You are.
I don't know. Netflix can't scrap that tape. Get rid of it. Yeah.
Hey, season 3 feels like a perfect time to talk about something I love to talk to people about, which is the concept of love language.
Right.
And I don't know if you've heard of it before, but we've got acts of service, gifts, touch, words of affirmation, and quality time. And I feel like in season 3, we're going to see what we've been waiting for such a long time, which is hopefully a beautiful love story. What would you say is your character's language of love?
It's interesting. I think Colin probably has a couple, but I think I started to realise that it's like quality time. I think he really appreciates like that, like just presence, just like and like undivided attention. Because I think he's shared that his whole life with his family and his siblings.
That's so
and I
interesting.
think when he finds that in Pen, that she's just like devoted. You know, it
Completely.
feels
Oh, I think Pen's is words of affirmation.
Yeah.
There's one moment in particular.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah, where she just hears everything she's needed to hear for her whole life, and yeah, it's an amazing moment.
And words are so important to her as well.
They are.
With what she writes, and you know, and of course I can see that with Colin traveling as well, and that quality time that he comes back and the first thing he wants to do is see his family.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to know, when you got your hands on this script, what was the moment that you were most looking forward to doing, without giving too much away, but when you looked at the script and you were like, this is going to be the peak of what I'm looking forward to doing this season?
Well, when we get the scripts, we get 2 at a time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice because it means you can you solely focus on those 2 eps, and then you kind of get drip fed them as we go.
Right.
But I'd say in the first block, for me, it's a moment where they kind of resolve the issues from previous seasons. And like, I mean, we've seen a little taste of that in the teaser clips that have gone out, but there's just a moment where they kind of resolve everything, and it's something that had kind of been hanging over me a little bit of like what Colin was saying.
Like, it's really funny because poor Lucas had to do with like Colin Bridgerton's misdeeds, and I'm like, he's a lovely boy, like he didn't do it.
I've just been getting a lot of grief for it, so it was a really nice, and also we talked so many times about how it kind of evens them out, and there's no power imbalance between them anymore.
Yeah,
she doesn't see him.
First time ever.
Yeah, so it was kind of like even playing field. And it was like free game. Then it got really exciting because it was like anything can happen between them.
Then you're like, here we go.
Yeah.
There was so much. Jess Barnell, our showrunner, got Luke and I on a Zoom a really, really long time ago, and she talked us through the season. So it was not quite the scripts, but hearing the story, and we were there on Zoom going, oh my God, that and this and more, and there's so much that happens this season. I was thinking this morning in the car, I was like, each episode feels like a mini movie.
Yeah.
Because they all have a very different energy. Colin and Penn are in very different places with one another in every single episode.
Yeah, totally.
So much moves on. It's really exciting. Yeah.
Well, look, I think we're all looking forward to seeing more Pirate Colin and Sexy Pen this season. And I hope you've had a great time in Australia, and thank you so much for chatting to me
Our
today.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
That was great. Thank you both.
I wish we had longer.
Nicola Coughlan and Luke Newton, thanks so much for joining us on ABC News Breakfast.
Of course.
Pleasure.
This season can be described in many words. Saucy, raunchy are just some of those words. This is not a season to watch with your grandparents, that's for sure. Nicola, I know that you had a special clause in your contract around this.
Well, this is interesting because I would have sworn to the Pope that I had a clause in my contract. And then Netflix, they were like, no, you don't. I was like, yeah, don't I? And they were like, no.
Yeah.
So I had convinced myself. I think it was maybe
Convinced me, and I was like, great, I'll get it as well.
And I was like, yeah, get it, Luke. It's fine. I've asked. It's
it's obviously made.
Yeah, it's done. I don't. So I have to fast forward. And the scenes are not short, I've realised. No. Try to skip through it.
I'm trying to think.
Happening.
I'm trying to think what you could watch with your parents. You could do 1 and 2, maybe. No, maybe not.
No.
It's also great because it's like everyone. It's like everyone's been here.
It's all happening.
Everyone's in love and everyone's going
Having
through
fun.
it this season. Yeah.
If a husband is what you seek, let me help you. Are we not friends?
friends.
It's certainly all happening, and for the two of you, it's all happening. We're seeing this friendship blossom into something else. How does it feel to be in that sort of central stage moment now?
It's hilarious because we've known that we were going to lead 3 since the beginning of 2, so it's a good few years now.
Yeah.
But there's so many moments which we go, like last night I was like, Luke, it's happening.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. We were used to filming 1 and 2 in which we'd do a little bit of the ball and then we'd go off.
Yeah.
But then realization on set, you're like, oh, but the main story is us this time. It's a very different energy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's huge. And we see that chemistry really clearly throughout this season. But there's also really good chemistry between the two of you in real life. That's obviously blossomed over the years too, hasn't it?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, we're really, really lucky. And it sounds so saccharine, and when actors be like, and we just really got on, but we actually did. I don't know. I think either of us would really struggle to be disingenuous.
No, yeah.
It's just not in us.
It felt so like appropriate to their story because they're the friends to lovers, so it felt like a perfect fit that we were friends going into, you know, like,
I would not be angry if you found me to be a lost cause.
You must not say such things. You are Penelope Featherington. Do not forget that.
Sort of looking back, I guess, you know, you guys did start this quite a while ago. You, at the age of 30, were working in an optician.
Yeah, I was.
And like, look at where you are now. How does that feel?
It's really crazy. I think I feel quite lucky in a weird way. I mean, my 20s were like a struggle because it's so financially difficult to go to drama school, to move to a city like London. But I wanted it so much. It made me so happy. Even if I was doing a fringe play to like 10 people, I was still like, no, this is what I want to be doing. But I think I have an abundance of gratitude now because I know what it's like to be desperately wanting to do the thing and not doing it. So, but yeah, and then to be in Australia, like, come on, it's crazy that we get to be here because of our job. So cool.
Absolutely, and you're going all around the world for this. You've got a huge number of fans all around the world. How does that feel? You know, you've worked really hard for this moment and it's now all just happening.
I think it's just a testament to the show and like how many people relate to different characters, storylines. It feels really special that we can just take out things that people loved from each season and then put them into the new one, incorporate new themes. And I think people will really love to see the Colin and Pen like romance finally happen because people have been very patient in like 2 seasons of watching them like frustratingly not connect. So I think it'll be a real special moment for fans.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much to both of you for joining us on ABC News Breakfast. Have a great time in Australia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
How does finally having this spotlight, not just in Bridgerton, but also in Big Mood, feel? And 2 very different roles as well.
I mean, I actually filmed both shows at the same time. They overlapped for like 3 weeks. So the very end of Bridgerton was the very start of Big Mood. And it feels apt that they're coming out at the same time, but while it's crazy, but it's, you know, it's my dream as an actor to do as many different roles as I can. And I really love both Maggie and Penn. So to get to play them both and for it to work out is like a dream. I think always my focus is doing really, really good acting and really servicing the script, and the script was written brilliantly. And she's a character I love playing. I've got to play her now over the span of 5 years, and she's so complex and strong, and I just love playing her.
Really? Yeah. There's lots of tortured moments, longingly staring at Penn from the corner.
I know, I went up to him and once and I was like, doesn't feel good, does it? It is, there's something about it that makes you go a bit, because I had it 2 seasons of it, and I'm like, you leave it the other day, you're like, oh, I feel a bit like drained out by that. Like,
especially on, like, we could take a week to shoot a ball, so you could be in the corner just staring at someone else, chat to someone for a week.
Yeah,
so, but I also was like, it was a nice moment to be like, he needed to be humbled in this, and he really needed this moment, and also for Penn to have her moment of like,
I think she needs to like, go on that journey. It's important. Yeah. It's amazing. It's scary. I mean, we found out we were leading season 3 very early in season 2, so we've had a lot of time to mentally prepare for it. But then the reality is so different. But actually filming it was one of the best experiences of my life. Honestly,
yeah, agreed.
It really was. It was very long. It was exhausting. But it was just like, I think because we both were really on a level with it. We both committed so hard. We worked so hard. We had such good communication about what we wanted to achieve, and we loved the scripts. I wanted to bring the most. So it's like, it's nerve-wracking, but also I think we both feel like we couldn't have done any more. So we're so proud of the work we've done. So we hope that that comes across when people watch it.
There's something really reassuring in, no matter how hard it gets, whether it's just the schedule or just the hours, that knowing someone else is going through it, and just like, it kind of gives you a bit of a reality check of like I'd be like, I know I haven't done a couple of scenes with Nick this week, but I know that she's also in every day and on whatever, you know, and so it was like a reassurance knowing that someone else was going through the same thing.
I'd like to get into the mindsets of how you kind of got into Penelope and Colin mode. So I'm going to ask you some niche questions about them.
Yeah, please do.
So Nicola, if Penelope was a Spice Girl, which one would she be?
Ooh.
I think she could be multiple throughout the seasons.
Oh yeah, well yeah, baby for season 1, a little bit of posh for season 2.
Yeah.
And season 3, maybe she's like Ginger Spice, she's coming into her own, finding her voice.
And the red hair coming through.
And the red hair, yeah.
Luke, if Colin was a Jonas brother, which one would he be?
Wow. I think. Ooh.
Do you know enough about them?
Yeah.
I got
Oh
this.
yeah. Don't worry about me.
No.
I think maybe when he first comes back into society, he thinks he's like Joe Jonas. He thinks he's like a front man, but he's probably more of a
Nick and Kevin.
Nick. I think he's more of a Nick.
Yeah.
He's like, he'll support, he's like with the bros. I'm trying to cast all 3 of us now. We can do it.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Yeah.
I think Johnny's giving Joe.
Yeah, Johnny's giving Joe.
You're
maybe.
Nick, and then Kevin is Benny.
Nicky T. Yeah.
If Penelope was a Taylor Swift album, which one would she be?
Oh, Lover?
Oh, for this season?
Yeah.
Very
She's a woman, a multifaceted lady. Yeah.
I'm interested to know what's been the most surprising thing about being in Australia so far, if this is your first times here.
I've got a really weird one, which
Go
I've
on.
told you. But like, the seagulls are really clean, which I know is so rogue, but like, I grew up in a seaside town and they're like dirty and grey and like, they're all, you know, and here I was like, they look like they've come out of a lab. Like they're like
they do.
pristine. And I loved it. Because also I'm a Brighton fan and we're the seagulls, so I feel connected to them.
Your boys.
Yeah.
So I've been here once before. I love it. I love being in Australia. I mean, I logically know that it's different seasons here, but it still blows my mind. I'm like, we came from spring, and it's autumn here. It freaks me out. I'm just like, yeah, it's warmer here. Oh yeah, of course it's warmer here than in London. Yeah.
Although I was expecting to be like, whoa.
Thank
last
God we
night I
weren't.
was a bit,
Little nippy.
I'm just showcasing my acting right now. Oh God.
He's available for her.
Yeah.
So obviously Bridgerton is quite well known for its sex scenes. How did you feel knowing that was going to be coming for you guys?
It was a joke for us in season 1 because it seemed like we didn't know if it would ever happen. So you're like, oh my God, imagine if we had to do that, and it's like in a carriage, ha ha ha.
Yeah, and we were like, it'll be season 4, so we'll be much older.
Yeah, we wouldn't
like,
even care.
Yeah.
But then we found out at the beginning of season 2, and we were like, okay.
Yeah, and also you obviously don't share that experience with other cast members. Like it's a very close set, and no one else is there, so it's not like we got to see and witness it before, so we had no idea or had any expectation of what it would be like. So yeah, I guess it's like part of the whole experience is like kind of daunting as a whole because of the scale of the show, but it definitely was something that's like, oh, this is something that I got to factor in that I've never had to do before. Like I've not done it like in any capacity on television before, so yeah, it was a new experience.
And how long do those scenes take to film?
Ages.
So long.
Yeah, there was one that was like 2 full days.
Yeah.
How do you stay in the zone for something filming for that long?
We didn't leave the set. We just sort of stayed in the room.
Peanut butter pretzels.
Yeah, little treats. Yeah. I think we were really mentally prepared for it. That we knew it was coming up. We had it marked on the calendar, and we had a lot of support as well. We had an amazing intimacy coordinator who made us feel like really empowered, and we were loving it. I know, but like,
you also don't have much dialogue in those scenes.
Yeah, we love that.
So like that is kind of like, oh, I haven't got to do like a 4-page script scene. Like this is chilling. All I got to do is take my clothes off. As long as there's heaters in here.
Are there heaters?
Yeah.
We're good.
That
really
part said
good.
it's cold.
Yeah.
Very cold. It's a very rare experience. Like I think we're aware of like how unique this is. And like I don't have a relationship like anyone in my life like I have with you because it's its own thing, because we did share that.
Yeah.
And it's like by the end I was like really sad. I was like, God, it was just because we really went on a journey through it.
Yeah. And I remember towards the end thinking like, we'll never lead this again. We'll never lead this show together again. Like, we'll never get that opportunity. So.
Also, it's all made up anyway. I know I'm not an aristocrat from the 19th century. I don't have red hair. Like it's all make believe. Ian McKellen isn't a wizard. Like, you know, we're all just like, So
Wait, is he not?
I'm peaked. I didn't want to tell you this. Yeah.
Nicola, there's often this misconception that life ends at 30 and kind of like, afterwards everything's, gets worse. But I feel like your career really started blossoming sort of like in your 30s.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How do you feel about aging in the industry? And I guess what advice would you give to like women who are struggling with sort of, I guess, aging and how society treats aging women?
It's incredibly difficult. I mean, it's a weird thing because I had been advised many years ago by people in the industry to lie about my age, and I really wasn't comfortable with it, mainly because I'm not a good liar, and I would feel weird about that. And also I think it's a difficult thing because the industry is ageist, though, and you do have times when I go, I'm like, should I have just not disclosed it and should I have not? But I think ultimately you're then playing the part in the system of oppression of women, and and it's like a guy can be sort of any age and it doesn't matter, but women can't be. So I feel like I'm happy to say, like, I had no in this industry. I, came from a small village in the west of Ireland. I had no connections. I didn't have the money. I needed to take out a loan to go to drama school. I needed to work to pay off that loan. It took me till I was 30 to get a good job on television, but I'm like, I did that myself. So I don't have shame about it taking me to this point to do that. I'm actually very proud of that. And I think,
any time that it felt difficult or I was struggling with whether it was just the schedule or the hours or jumping from episode to episode, like I just felt reassured in the fact that Nick was also going through the same experience and like coping with it really well. So I would go, right, get your shit together, like let's get on it. So yeah, there's something that just like bonds you when you do this show with someone, and like the scale of it and the response of it, you kind of have to just you just have that.
It's incredibly difficult. I mean, it's a weird thing because I had been advised many years ago by people in the industry to lie about my age, and I really wasn't comfortable with it, mainly because I'm not a good liar, and I would feel weird about that. And also I think it's a difficult thing because the industry is ageist, though, and you do have times when I go, I'm like, should I have just not disclosed it and should I have not? But I think ultimately you're then playing the part in the system of oppression of women, and and it's like a guy can be sort of any age and it doesn't matter, but women can't be. We had 2 days blocked off to film that scene. So obviously we're the only two actors there. It'd be a bit weird if like Cressida was in the corner. So we really were given the time and space to do it justice. And watching it back, we're so proud of it.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
Yeah, I know.
I did not think I would at all.
It's like one of those scenes that's really important to like drive the story forward, to like, not only are they completely exposed physically, but it exposes them emotionally and in every possible way, so that they have to be just like completely honest and like genuinely themselves in front of each other. And it feels like that's why it's so important in the show that they have that moment of like intimacy and like and like understanding. It feels very authentic. It feels like a real situation.
It's really funny because it's actually a bit of like a Mandela effect, because it's like a famous scene from the book, but it actually doesn't happen in the book. He says he would like to, but they don't do that. But we do that. It shows also how hot like consent and care is. Yeah. Because people often don't understand it, but it's just like, oh, look at this, and then they're having like the best time possible. Yeah.
I think I'm only sort of started like coming to terms with the response and like the scale of the show. I feel like I've kind of probably put it somewhere in the back of my mind and haven't even thought about it until almost this trip. Like it really is starting to feel very real.
The only thing that you can really do as an actor is to be invested in the work and do the best version of the work that you can, and we really did. Like we were such a team on this season, and I feel really grateful for that, because we had each other's back the whole way, and it's 8 months of shooting, so it just is exhausting at times. It's relentless, it's wonderful, but it is like a real labour of love. So I think ultimately, I keep using a sports analogy for this, and it's hilarious because I know nothing about sports, but I really feel like we left it all on the pitch. I don't think we could have done any more. And watching it back, I feel that. So then it's a little bit like, we do, of course, really care about the fans and want to do them a service, but I don't feel like we could have done any more with making the show. So I feel
Wouldn't want to change it.
No, I wouldn't change a thing.
Like forgiveness is almost one of the themes of the show this year, and also like seeing the reasons why people act in certain ways that would appear like there may be a villain in that situation. Like we have it with Lady Featherington, we have it with Cressida, we have it with both
really
our
interesting
characters.
With Cressida, I would say as well.
We really get to see like the stories behind why they're acting the way they are. But particularly for Colin and Penn, I think the reason that we have to like allow them to make these mistakes is that they're still growing up. Like the whole season, this season, they're still finding themselves. They're still becoming adults. They've lived, you know, they're younger siblings within their families. They've lived very like sheltered lives. So they're growing up, and like I feel like we just have to allow people that are in that position to like make mistakes and grow and make right decisions after that. And that's kind of the journey that they go on together, and it's how they help find each other, I think. Yeah.
And I think they're really relatable as well, because they're both underdogs and they both do make these mistakes. So, I mean, it's not interesting to have two perfect characters do nothing wrong and then happily ever after. Like, they feel like really rounded, well-written people. So I think, we just have to give them the grace and go along the journey. I always equate it to people like, well, she writes Whistledown. I'm like, yeah, but, you know, she makes these mistakes. I'm like, have you never written a text? And then the next day you've gone, why did I send that? We've all done that.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different scale, but
Yeah, you can't click unsend in those times.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing that you can really do as an actor is to be invested in the work and do the best version of the work that you can, and we really did. Like, we were such a team on this season, and I feel really grateful for that, because we had each other's back the whole way, and it's 8 months of shooting, so it just is exhausting at times. It's relentless, it's wonderful, but it is like a real labour of love. So I think ultimately, I keep using a sports analogy for this, and it's hilarious because I know nothing about sports, but I really feel like we left it all on the pitch. I don't think we could have done any more. And watching it back, I feel that. So then it's a little bit like, we do, of course, really care about the fans and want to do them a service, but I don't feel like we could have done any more with making the show. So I feel...
Wouldn't want to change it.
No, I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah. I think I think I'm only sort of started like coming to terms with the response and like the scale of the show. I feel like I've kind of probably put it somewhere in the back of my mind and haven't even thought about it until almost this trip. Like, it really is starting to feel very real. So my answer is kind of, I don't know how I'm going to respond to it. It's kind of going to be something that I'm going to have to figure out.
Yeah.
It's so funny, actually, because a lot of people have said that. I actually didn't. I was in LA doing some bits like last month, and I had a boring haircut, and I was like, you know what, I want to just mix it up. No, I was like growing it for something, and then I was like, don't need to anymore. So I just went in and just said, do your worst to the barber, and then he gave me like a mullet, and I was like, I'm going to Australia next month. Let's go. That'll be perfect. So yeah,
you walked in
big fan.
And everyone was like, is that a mullet? It's really on theme.
I had it like touched up specific for this trip, so I needed it. Really? I know what bits it is as well. Yeah. Okay. It'll be the chatting to the ladies.
Yep. Yeah.
Which,
It's so on you. That's what's so funny about it. It's so on Luke. So when I was watching it back, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. It feels... I don't know how I feel about it.
Jess made a good point the other night, though. We had drinks with Jess Farnell, our showrunner. And she was like, you were meant to look at Colin doing that and go, no.
Yeah, it's meant to not feel like him.
It's meant to feel off.
Because I think, there has to be that element of like pretense. He's come back and like, you know, thinks he's a man about town. So it's like slightly elevated, but, you know, this one knows that it's all...
Yeah, Penn's not buying it for a second.
Yeah, you can see she's not.
Yeah.
We see a lot of how beautiful everything is on screen and what the show looks like. I want to know, what's it like off screen? Are we in tracksuit pants, gowns?
I definitely am. Yeah.
You know what though, in terms of the sets, when you rock up, it's 360, there's no screen, it's like everything you can touch and feel is real. It feels like you're completely in it, but I know costume-wise there would be the occasional...
I think I always try and like
slipper?
think...
All right.
Ugg boot, for sure. Ugg boot, trackies under. It's because I'm like in a full corset all day and a wig that's been pinned to my head since 5 in the morning. I'm gonna wear it till 6 p.m. So if I can like have one part of my body that's a little more comfortable, I will be doing that. Yeah. What is this? No! This is my cover.
Oh my God, you haven't seen this yet?
No.
Yo.
Oh, I love that you went for the Schiaparelli.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's so good.
So it hasn't gone to print yet, so I can't give you a physical one.
Oh wow.
That's so. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, that's mega. Thank you. Oh.
God, I don't think I'll be able to help you with this.
No.
I would know them if they were on, but I wouldn't know titles, I don't think.
Well, I think in like the first episode, it's like a real we are never ever getting back together. Yeah. And then there's, I think, Out of the Woods would be a good one for, I can't say at what point, but I think that would work.
Let's go, we're getting a soundtrack.
Yeah, I know. There's lots. Yeah, there's lots.
It's hard without spoilers.
I know, I'm trying to not spoiler. I'm like, yeah.
That was good.
How spicy is this season?
I think, you know, the other day I was watching back on season 1, and like, obviously it was very steamy.
Yeah.
And it feels just very appropriate to each love story. I think like what's great about this season is it's very authentic and honest and like meaningful between them. It just feels like, yeah, it just felt so perfectly written for Colin and Penn. Even when I watched it back, I was kind of blown away by it. And yeah,
it's the type of thing as an actor you think you'd be. I was terrified to watch those scenes, but when I watched them, I was like so happy because, like Lou said, they're written beautifully. Yeah. It's not just like it's sex for sex sake and it's just there. It's like it's a moment of beautiful connection between these two people, and it's both sexy and funny and unexpected, and there's an art to the storytelling in them. But yeah, people won't be disappointed, I don't think.
No, I think they go through a journey of like self-discovery before they find each other, and I think that's a beautiful thing about the story is like you can't just change your appearance and the way you look and you get your happily ever after.
No.
You've got to do some work and find yourself.
Yeah, I think exactly that. It's a lot about self-acceptance and love, and also not putting someone on a pedestal. I think that's more Penn specific, but there was no way in season 1 and 2 it would have worked out for them because she was like, he's perfect, he's an angel, he never does anything wrong. So she sort of had to see him like slag her off, and she had to like bring him down to earth. Because then when they finally get an even playing field, the dynamic of their relationship is completely different to how we've ever seen it before. And there's points he's trying to teach her how to court gentlemen, but then she's smart, so she quickly picks it up. Yeah. So there's lots of moments of,
and he's like, hang on, wait.
Yeah, he's like, no, I was gonna happen. She's like, I got this, I'm fine, you know? Yeah. I have very tiny little hands, and they put the gloves on, and it's really easy to make me look a lot younger than I am, but that was not the aim this season. It was to make her look like a woman. So we put the gloves on, they weren't quite right, and I was like, what about if we did like sort of a Karl Lagerfeld, but like with a tulle? And he was like, let's do it. And they made me a whole little wardrobe of these little tulle fingerless gloves, so that when like our hands touched, you could see the flesh touch. But like, you know, not every designer would do that, but he's just like, yeah, let's try it. Yeah, and there was certain dresses I would have certain ideas for, but also at the same time, 99.9% was all them and them being amazing. But yeah, it was very cool.
It wasn't just you in the trailer with a
wasn't me going, what am I going to do for this one? No. Yeah.
Wow, what excites us the most? I think it's all the work that we've done in the lead up to it. You know, the previous seasons, and this sense that the fans have really invested in their friendship and relationship. That comes with pressure, but also it's a beautiful thing to know that they're finally get to see a story that they've been waiting for.
It's always a privilege on a show that returns and that people like to watch, that you can really go on a journey with the character. And it's not like we arrive and meet Colin and Penn in season 3 and they're already fully formed into who they're going to be. They still have so much growing to do. And you get to go on that journey with them, and it's so satisfying.
I know you were going through it at that point, but it was really fun for me to dive into that, because one of the fans' favourite things about Colin is his light-hearted nature and sense of humour. But it was nice to lean into that, and also I felt like he needed to go through that. He needed to be humbled slightly and go through that journey. But we do also get to see that side later on. I loved doing the scenes later on when he's just like giddy and happy.
They're some of my favourites.
All his dad jokes, and it's a nice environment to be on set and feel like that. I know you were going through it at that point, but I was having a great.
No, I love those moments of levity between them, because that's one of the nicest things about the show is when you see the love. It's really special. You know, I saw the other day, I need to send it to you, a picture of us from season 1, and we just look like babies.
Oh yeah. Which is so weird, we weren't teenagers.
We literally weren't. I was in my 30s.
Yeah, I feel like there was a real shift to tell the story of Colin's journey. From costume to hair and makeup, every department all came together and just wanted to change his look completely. It was amazing for me to be in my first fitting and just feel like there was a load of knowledge about my character just in the costume that I was wearing.
We're working with the most incredibly talented people. There's 6 people who make Penn's dresses alone, and for them to like literally be sourcing materials from all around the world to put it together, and there's such thought and a story behind every single look, and it made us hold ourselves completely differently. Never mind Anthony or the Duke or Benedict. I'm like, Colin is like the pick of the Bridgertons for sure.
I admire Penelope's. We've never done this before, have we?
No, I don't think so.
I admire her ambition and how driven she is, even though Colin is so unaware of that. Her sense of humour, her empathy for people, she's very caring.
I think I love how kind Colin is. Come on. How kind Colin is. He is who he is, and it's funny because I think in F1 you see him trying to not be Colin Bridgerton, but that's what makes him so great, is being who he is. And the dad jokes and just how much he cares cares, and also like when he has her back. I really love that.
Yeah.
Which person from the ton would you warn your friends about and why?
Penelope.
Yeah.
I feel like she'd write down anything you say.
I think Cressida.
Yeah.
It depends who opinion it is. Obviously, we all know.
Sorry.
But Cressida also.
Penelope doesn't do it to be mean, but Cressida, I think, revels in being mean and hurting people's feelings.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever Penelope's aim.
Yeah, I think maybe that's the one.
Yeah, Cressida.
Yeah. Sorry, Jess, we love you.
Sorry, love Jess. Claudia Jessie, who plays Eloise, said to me, you know, I think this could be like Game of Thrones big. And I was like, yeah, I think it like, could be actually. But you really never know.
No.
It's so difficult. And the way it just hit with people is still hard to fathom.
I was in a pub and I had a pint of Guinness and I did the Zoom like in this pub and I was like, oh God, this is so unprofessional. But it was like
I was in bed,
it was like a real last minute call, wasn't it? And it was
I
like,
thought it was just a check-in. I did not know what it was at all.
And then, I think I just celebrated and was like, wow, this is like a real opportunity that I didn't know was going to come up at this point, you know, in my career or in my life. So I was like, let's just dive in and go for it.
In India, when two people are paired romantically in a film, there's a very simple gesture the guy does, which is just this. Which is just open your hands and feel the romance.
Yeah.
Do you want to give that a shot?
Yeah.
I love that.
We are very excited, especially after watching the first episode.
Oh, that's so great.
Right. So diamonds are not the only things that shine. According to you, if you want to tell fans, what is going to shine in this season?
Ooh.
What is going to shine?
So much stuff. I think it's a very sparkly season.
Yeah.
It's got lots of excitement, lots of intrigue, lots of romance. There's so much that happens, isn't there?
And there's so many, you know, the storylines that we've seen in previous seasons. Everyone's got something going on, and there's so much more growth for all these different characters.
Yeah.
Like all the Bridgertons, the Mondridges, all the Featheringtons. Everyone's got something new to like tackle with, and so it's really exciting to like dive in and hit the ground running.
Right. Honestly, in first season, did you see this track coming?
Yeah, I did feel like it was going to be successful. I think there was definitely like an electricity when we were filming it. Claudia Jessie, who plays Eloise, said to me, you know, I think this could be like Game of Thrones big. And I was like, yeah, I think it like, could be actually. But you really never know.
No.
It's so difficult. And the way it just hit with people is still hard to fathom.
I think that's what was mad about going back into season 2.
Yeah.
And then I think the first scene I had was the races. And we arrived and they were like, oh, can the Bridgertons arrive and walk through? And you know, obviously all the supporting artists at that point were like, we've seen the show, we know like who these characters are. And then it became kind of like a weird sense of like, this feels really real now that people know what it is. Whereas season 1, it was like our own little secret. No one knows what we're doing.
Trying to not like get the paparazzi, get pictures of us in costume,
now it's all of,
sneaking in and out of buildings to not like ruin storylines. This season was hard. To keep things secret.
So when the writers first told you that this is going to be your track and it's about 2 of you, what was your first reaction and who did you go and tell?
I called my agent right away.
We were on a Zoom together, weren't we?
Oh no, it's a phone call when Jess,
sorry, yeah. I thought you meant when we found out the story.
Oh no, the story that when we were together. Yeah, no, I called my agent and I was like, I don't know how I feel. Like it's really nice. Feels like a vote of confidence, but I thought it was going to be 4. So, but then when I had time to settle in, when we spoke, I was like, no, it actually is exciting. Okay. Yeah.
I was. I think. I've actually, my memory of it is that I was in a pub and I had a pint of Guinness and I did the Zoom like in this pub and I was like, oh God, this is so unprofessional. But it was like
I was in bed,
it was like a real last minute call, wasn't it? And
I thought it was just a check-in. I did not know what it was at all.
And then, I think I just celebrated and was like, wow, this is like a real opportunity that I didn't know was going to come up at this point, you know, in my career or in my life. So I was like, let's just dive in and go for it. Yeah.
How soon do you get to know when there's a 4th season coming? How soon would you get to know what's happening?
We'll be told very
much later than people think.
It's good for us because it then means that there's no risk, and I would ask not to be told because I just think
we can't spoiler anything because we genuinely don't know anything. But that's quite a nice place to be.
Yeah,
because you're like, I'm not going to let anything slip because I got nothing to tell you.
But I'm excited to see, you know, what Colin and Penn get up to in the new season and what new themes we can explore.
Right. You know, last night you told me, you know, y'all have known each other for 5 years now, and this is the 3rd season. How have you all seen each other grow as actors on the set? So if you
God, so much actually.
Yeah, it really is. I think, you know, we're so lucky. There's such a large ensemble of characters within this show that you can really sort of like there's so many incredible actors on set that you're working with every day. You're gonna draw on things all the time, whether you're aware of it or not, and being able to like, sounds really lame, but like harness your like craft. And, like,
for sure.
given the opportunity, particularly this season, like we get to explore so many different themes. Like that was my favorite part, is that it wasn't just like, you know, one path. We'd got to do everything that you could want to as an actor. So, and
the nicest thing you can have on set is a supportive co-star. And that, I know that might sound like sickly sweet or whatever, but genuinely, because you there's a vulnerability in trying things within performance, and you got to feel like someone has your back. And because we had that with one another, I think I grew exponentially in this season. But that's the wonderful thing though about acting, is you never stop learning. You always keep going. But this season, by the end, we used to say it felt really effortless between us, because it felt like, oh, we've just gotten onto such a path.
Right, and I can see all that because I saw the first episode. You know, in India, when two people are paired romantically in a film, there's a very simple gesture the guy does, which is just this. Which is just open your hands and feel the romance. Do you want to give that a shot?
I love that.
Thank you so much. You guys are lovely.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure. And I can't wait even I as a fan can't wait for this to reach the fans.
That's so lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Nice to chat to you again.
Hi, Nicola and Luke. Good to see you again.
You too.
I'm Gretchen from the Philippines. Can you tell us what's in store for season 3?
Yeah, we really hit the ground running. It's been really exciting to focus on this love story, and you know they're brand new characters when they come back. It feels like, you know, they've slightly matured. There's a lot of pretense there. There's like some ego there, and they're just trying to navigate their way like into adulthood, but individually. And it's not till we find them getting closer together that they really start to find their way. So yeah, I think fans will be pleasantly surprised with how the whole story plays out.
Yeah. And what about Lady Whistledown?
Oh, I mean, this is the thing. I think we feel really lucky this season because, of course, we have the love story and all that comes with that, but then we have that extra element too that really heightens things. It's just an elephant in the room that's there from episode 1, and I love that the audience are in on the secret, because then you really sweat for her. You're just like, you know, you can't keep this secret forever. What's going to happen? Yeah, it's very exciting.
When season 1 first came out during the pandemic, you know, it exploded, but in the midst of all the chaos and uncertainty, I just want to say thank you for bringing so much joy and happiness to all of us fans because of this show.
What a privilege for us to be part of that. And like, this show is made by hundreds and hundreds of people. We have like the brilliant writers, the team at Shondaland, the team at Netflix who distribute it, our brilliant crew, a lot of whom have been there since season 1, the people who spend months making the costumes, and then we're a small part as the cast, but it means a lot to us that the show means a lot to people.
But how has this show changed your lives?
Yeah, I can't even explain. I mean, I still have moments when I just feel so grateful that I get to wake up every day and like acting is my job, because that was like something that I just always wanted to have as my sole focus, and be like, you know, growing up like being unemployed and trying to like juggle like doing normal jobs and then maybe booking a show and doing that for a few weeks, and now it's so nice to wake up every day and go, this is what I get to focus on. I feel very lucky and privileged to do that.
It's a really special thing.
What about you, Nicola?
Yeah, the same thing as Luke. Honestly, like the little things aren't lost on me. The fact that like this is how I pay like my gas and electric bill. It sounds like a silly thing, but also like, because you know we both really spent a good deal of our time in our 20s quite broke and trying to be actors, and that's hard. But also it's crazy to come, you know, halfway across the world and for people to know who you are. I still don't.
I
really
literally had a moment this morning when I was like, I'm in Australia and I'm like doing a tour to promote this show. It's like crazy. Yeah.
Speaking of Australia, what about the Philippines? When are you coming over? You have so much fans in the Philippines.
We've just heard this is so low. We would love to.
Love to.
We would really, really love to.
We need conversations to be had.
I know, you got to talk to Netflix.
Okay, we'll tell them.
But we'd be there
we'll
if
be
the
there
invite comes. Absolutely.
So for fans watching season 3, what is Luke's secret weapon charming all the women? And Nicola, what about your glow up and your transformation in evolving into this woman, this sultry, gorgeous woman?
I think Colin's like, his charm. I think it's like an experience that he's had that no one else can understand, and I think that's kind of sexy to people. That it's like he's lived, and also his like growth and development. He's like come back and now really feels like one of the Bridgerton men, and he was a boy previously. So
I'm going to disagree with you.
Really?
Because I think like what's the source of Colin's power is actually none of those things. I think it's how much of a good person he is.
Right.
And he doesn't realise that.
Yeah, I also agree, because I'm like, I know that's what Penn sees in him, but like on the surface, the debs at the start that are like surrounding him and stuff, it's all just like this facade that's not real. That's what I mean.
Right.
Whereas like I know
the real true deep core of why he's
him.
so great is actually everything he's been since season 1. He didn't really have to change at all.
Yeah.
With Penn, it's so fun because I mean those incredible costumes.
The hair.
The hair, come on. It's so sad when that wig comes off and I look like a sad little rat underneath. I'm like, oh no, that's what I look like.
So it's really the glam up.
It's proper glam. Yeah. We are, incredible hair and makeup teams. It was so much fun to be part of that process, and also what I really love about it aesthetically is it's how she's always wanted to dress. It's how she's seen herself. Because someone said to me recently, it's sad that she's, not wearing the Featherington colours anymore. I'm like, she hated that.
Yeah.
It's
she
so
said
not
that
her.
many times. She's like
she
not
hates
loving
the
it.
yellow.
Yeah.
It's not her thing. And so I love, and also she tries it. It goes kind of like quite extreme that first look, and then she pulls back. But then throughout the season, like even the shapes of the dresses slightly change. They're more like molded into the waist, and it's a progression within the relationship. So, but every look has so much thought and work that goes into it. Yeah.
You guys are so fun to look at. I know it's going to be fun in the set while you were shooting it, but as friends, when you did those steamy scenes, was it more awkward or was it fun because you're friends doing those romantic, and especially episode 4?
Whoa.
Well, I know. I was thinking, I was like, there's more.
Yeah.
But that's what you only got to see.
Yeah.
It was. You would think that being with a friend is like more uncomfortable, but actually it just felt like safer, and just like, our jobs are just like about playing and exploring a scene and like feeling safe and feeling like, you can trust that person.
Yeah, and you're going to do something and the other person will have your back, and it applies a lot in comedy, weirdly, but there's comedy moments in those scenes as well, but of like, if I'm going to try something, this person is going to support me in what I'm doing in the performance.
Because it's exposing not only physically the way you're dressed, but also like it's exposing like the choices that you're going to make, because it's so intimate, the scene.
Yeah. So if you don't, I can't imagine doing what we did in the show, but not like having a good relationship with the person. I would have found it impossible. But thankfully it was lovely.
Please invite everyone in the Philippines to watch Bridgerton.
Yes, everyone in the Philippines. Please watch Bridgerton. We hope you love it.
Hopefully we'll come see you all soon.
Hope so. I love that.
This is a Filipiniana.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
I love it. It's so good. So what's the pressure on you guys like that, there's such a huge Poland fan base?
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah, it's starting to feel real, like as of now. Like it's really starting to come to terms with like the scale of it. But also, I know we've said before, but we're just very proud of it, and like we just gave it our all. So yeah, I'm sure people are gonna love it. Like it's just.
I think so. I think the thing is, it was written brilliantly.
Yeah.
So when you're an actor and you get scripts like that are so funny, so suspenseful, so romantic, you're like, okay, we just have to not mess it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also we've done it now. So.
That's why actually it's amazing now that we get to like do this press tour and like meet people in person and get like a human reaction, because it's so hard to put the numbers into like
it's hard to imagine that that's real people.
Yeah,
I got it for the first time when I went to Brazil with Netflix last summer.
To Doom,
exactly. It was a very good To Doom there. Well done. In Sao Paulo, and to meet the fans was amazing, and also to be like, thank you so much. Like, you're the reason why this show is what it is. Like their love and the fact that people rewatch our show so much. We're one of the most rewatched shows on Netflix, which means a lot, because it means it's like people's comfort show, which is a real privilege.
It is. I think the romance transcends any culture. And speaking of culture, I mean, Bridgerton is known for its inclusion and representation. And how do you feel as actors? Because of course we do know Poland is they're gonna bloom this season, right? And then you were saying last night, like it's about, even though you had a makeover, you needed that introspection in your character, to totally bloom. And there are a lot of people who could actually relate to Poland in the books also as well, right? And they're about to watch it on screen. How important is it for you as actors to represent that?
It's really, we're very lucky because as I said, we're given brilliant scripts. And I think, the reason a lot of people relate to Pollen is because they're both underdogs and they both, have a lot of growing to do. And so many people can relate to that. So it feels great to be those characters, because I think there's a character in the show for every person. There's a lot of Kate Sharmas out there. There's a lot of Benedict Bridgertons, but it's lovely that this season, if the wallflowers feel seen by Penn and Colin.
Really, I mean, it's such it touches our heart seeing you guys finally from friends to lovers, right? And then, but how is it for you too? Because you were saying you've been friends for 5 years. As co-actors, at what point did you say that, wait, we broke the ice already?
Yeah, it never really was like a conversation, was it?
No, it
was
wasn't.
just like, I guess like when you book the job, we never really expected that we'd get round to doing it, but also, our storylines were gradually leading there. I looked back recently in like the first interaction that our characters have in season 1, and like there's a moment where Penn sort of impresses Colin, and he's like,
makes him laugh. Yeah.
Like, and there's a little spark in that moment. So that's what's just so clever about the show, is that it's been the long game with these two. They've really been waiting for. So it's amazing now to like finally step into that and see these new versions of them and their relationship.
Are you nervous that they're gonna see episode 4 already? Because that's one of the most scenes that really the fans are looking forward to.
No, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that I've seen it, I'm like, it feels exactly like it did when we shot it, which sometimes when you watch things back that you've shot, you go, oh, I didn't think, okay, that's been edited in a way I didn't think, but the edit is...
Or you could have done it better?
Yeah, no, I don't feel that way, and I always feel that way. But watching the season, I was like, nope, we did what we wanted to do. Yeah.
That was perfect. You were saying you extended it. You didn't know that the director...
No, we didn't. It was a complete honest mistake, but because an intimacy coordinator doesn't say like, kiss for 3 seconds, move your hand, and you're not fully given free rein, but we know there's certain things we needed to do and whatever. But the carriage was much more of a soundproof box than we had realized. And we didn't hear the director shouting cut, so it just kept going. And then eventually I was like, I'm just gonna stop and like finish the scene. And then the director was like, what were you doing? We were like, what do you mean? He was like, because shouting.
Apparently he was like, stop! Yeah.
Everyone was watching the monitor just like, what? We had no...
Was it awkward after all this?
It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
It was funny.
Because we love Andrew to bits as well.
He's
he was
amazing.
like laughing about it. He's like, what are you doing?
Like, what? Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, I have to wrap, and I just want to thank you for your time and
Of
enjoy your
course.
time here.
Thank you so much.
The scene that's out now, actually, already, when your eyes are the most remarkable shade of blue.
Yeah.
Loads of people on the internet annoyed me because they were like, his eyes aren't blue. I'm like, they're very dark blue, which is a remarkable shade of blue.
Yeah, mine are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
mine
are.
really are. Yeah, I would say blue.
I know, feel defensive about
Yeah.
it. I got your back.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the pace at which things happen in this series is going to shock people. We're so used to seeing Penn being like, oh my God, Colin. Yeah, the tables turn.
Like, oh my God, Penn. I think it's quite, in the best possible way, overwhelming. So rapid and so much goes on. Like, if I think the end of Ep 2, like, it feels like weeks have gone by and we're at the end of 2 episodes. We've seen up to episode 6 now. And in my head, I'm like, there's so much to go and it's only 2
I can't
eps.
believe how much there is. That one we giggled really, really badly in. Like, it was the scene that's out now, actually, already, when your eyes are the most remarkable shade of blue.
Yeah, because it was just before lunch, our tummies were rumbling, like both of us, so, but only we could hear it. And then like one of the sound team, their stomach rumbled and we just like
someone holding the
lost
boom
it.
and you go...
There's something about that sound that like no one has control over.
That was quite bad. Then the rest of them, I think they were probably too nerve-wracking for us to laugh.
Yeah.
Him, for sure.
Well, I've actually, is it the jig? It's like a really old clip of us doing the
That
jig.
one is, it's ancient.
You were straight into that.
I
that was like...
had learned that dance in school in Ireland, so it's called the Siege of Ennis. So I'd known it since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
So that was easy for me.
You were like straight in.
Full of suspense.
It is very sexy games because then it's like, who's into who? Who's feeling what?
Gosh. Oh, I'm sure we would get killed if we answered that question. Hello, Look, I Sail Thailand.
I'm Luke Newton.
And I'm Nicola Coughlan.
Dearest.
Yeah, I love it as well. Do you know what? I absolutely love it. It's been great.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And it was really, I really enjoyed diving into their story, seeing, getting to really dive into the all shades of their personalities, their relationship. Yeah, it was like a shared experience that we may never have again.
Because we shoot for 8 months, so it's very intense, and we've known each other 5 years total, but like doing this with a friend and, having such a great support system and us to be able to be there, the early mornings, the late nights, the dances, and that, it was like an amazing experience. I felt like it felt really different to me from the previous seasons. It felt like a kind of, but it's funny that with this show, and I think it's by merit of the leads changing every year, each year's had a very different energy, you know. And then in season 2, you know, when we filmed, it was really COVID restricted, so all of the cast were very separate. So it was really nice for us to then everyone get back, and we had so much more freedom to like be together and do all of that.
Just diving into the scripts, I think, just really, I mean, it's so beautifully written. What Jess and her team have done is so, like, it gives us so much to work with. But then also, you know, rocking up on the day and working with these incredible directors that we got to shoot with, they just really gave us like the freedom to explore different versions of the scene. And, you know, now that we've seen it, we're so happy with what everyone's come up with.
Yeah, I think just in prep, it was sort of getting in the right mind frame to do it. I think because I knew it was going to be a real marathon for us. So
we did sort of discuss being like,
be quite sensible and like, you know, like boring things like going to bed early and going to the gym and eating well, to just be mentally and physically prepared to not get really tired and to give it your everything, because you want to get onto set and leave everything there and don't watch the scene back and go, oh, I wish I'd done a bit more prep, oh, I wish I'd like, you know, worked on the lines more. You want to feel like you're giving everything in every scene. Gosh, I think it's in reality probably very hard.
I think there's a real turning point, and we've kind of started to introduce it at the end of season 2, when Penelope sees Colin sort of slagging her off to the other lords. You know, he's had a bit to drink, I will put that out there.
I know.
But
I've
he's like, him. He's being not as nice as he normally would be. And then once we get to a moment in season 3 where that's discussed and we're kind of on an even playing field, the dynamic between the two kind of shifts, and then we can play, and then it's like all fun and games, because then it's like, who's into who's feeling what, like it's then it gets really exciting.
The power dynamic totally switches, which was so much fun for us to play after, you know, 2 seasons of it being sort of a same dynamic, and but like, it's all up in the air now. I think with in Penelope's case, it's about not putting someone on a pedestal and realizing they're a real person. Everyone is just a person, but also then part of me, I'm like, take the chance. Life is short.
You got to do it.
And look, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Then at least you know.
You
never think, what if?
You don't want to be tortured for life, being like, but if I just told them, like, Oh, I'm sure we would get killed if we answered that question.
Well, we'd want to.
What we'd want to.
Not maybe what is happening.
She's not in the family, but Lady Danbury, I'm like, what does she get up to?
Yeah. That's great.
Right? I just really want.
And for me, it's like Mama Bridgie. Yeah. Just to like see maybe a history of the Mama B. I don't know.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, we love Ruth.
We love Ruth. So Thai fans, I think you don't want to miss Bridgerton season 3 because it's romantic, it's exciting, it's full of suspense.
It is. It's very sexy. It's very honest. It's authentic. And look, you've followed us for 2 seasons now, so you've got to see how it all plays out. So yeah, we hope you enjoy.
Hope you enjoy.
Guys, how delightful is this?
Very delightful.
It's so bloody lovely. Like, I've been walking around Bowral and everyone is into it.
It's mad because it was a secret we were coming here, but we could see videos of people, you know, getting dressed. Like, it always amazes me how much. I don't feel like this is an easy show to dress up in costume as.
Oh no, really hard.
You know, it's really hard. So the fact, the effort that people put in blows my mind.
Yeah, I even think if you were auditioning for the show, like, what would you wear in the audition tape? Because it's like frilly shirts. No, I mean, I should probably steal a shirt and then use it for other agency stuff if that ever happens again.
I would not be angry.
To, you know, make a TV show and then step out into the world and see face to face how people are interacting with it. These are real life fans. They're not on the internet.
Yeah, I feel it's really crazy to have that like human interaction with people and actually see like how much it means to them and you know, hear their opinions and meet people. It's so
lovely.
Yeah.
Like, and one of my favorite things about this show is, like, I think any show you can get people to watch a show once, but our show is one of the most rewatched shows shows on Netflix, and that means a lot because it means, you know, I have comfort shows that I rewatch, and the fact that we're that for people is massive privilege. It's so cool.
Do you feel a different, I mean, obviously you'd feel a lot more pressure going into this season because, you know, it's pollen, it's all about you guys. Or as I like to call you, Penelope. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
Oh yeah, Penelope, yeah, I like it.
But that must be a whole other experience stepping into the roles in this particular series.
Yeah, definitely. It was like, it was a challenge that I was really excited for, but you can't really get away from the nerves of it.
I think if we started thinking about the scale of the show and the amount of fans on set, it would be so unhelpful. You have to just, on those, and also we're going back to the studios we were in season 1. So it sort of just feels like going home, we're going back to school. You're a bit like, oh, here we are again, and everything else sort of fades away.
How delightful to see you all. The splendid weather we are having.
When you get cast in a role like this, how do you explain to your parents or your family? You're like, okay, so it's a bit raunchy, but it's fine, Mom and Dad. Like,
well, I guess from reading, you know, season 1, you never really know that you're going to get to do your season.
Yeah, we don't know if it would ever be
as an actor, you're lucky if your season gets renewed for another, second season. So I think I probably read it and just thought, well, that's their job. Like, that's their thing that they need to ring their parents about, and I'll never have to worry about that. And then,
oh, thank God, it's not me.
Yeah, and then 2 years later, you get the call saying, you're doing it, and here's the scene, and this is how sexy it is, and this is how little you're gonna wear.
It was gradual. My mum at first, she was like, period drama like Downton Abbey, and I was going, oh, it's so much less clothes than Downton. Oh no. And but yeah, she saw. But Johnny Bailey's bum makes an appearance like 2 minutes into season 1, episode 1, so it gives you an indication right away. And she was cross at first about that. She was like, I just don't understand what it. And now she loves it. She's all about it.
She's like, more bums, more girls.
Yeah, absolutely.
The sturdier the bum, the better.
I will tell you, it was a major moment last week. I texted Luke. I was like, huge news. So my mom she loves favoritism, right? So it was all Johnny Bailey, and then Luke Thompson, love Luke Thompson. The other day she was like, and he really is my favorite Luke Newton. I was like, hang on, he wasn't always favorite. She goes, I always loved him. He was a baby, but now he's a real man, and you could just see that he's she was monologuing at me. I was in bed and I was like, I know that you love Luke Newton. I think it's great, but you go to sleep. So yeah, he's
I said that's better than any review.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That is just like,
I'm very much looking forward to Whistle Down Under season 4.
Thank you.
That'd be great.
Part 1.
Order of the books kind of switch. It felt like the perfect time because I was always worried that audiences would get frustrated at Colin for like not seeing Penelope and not and not understanding that there's this chemistry between them.
It was exciting but terrifying because it's such a huge show.
Not only a hit on screen, the Regency romance is such a phenomenon. It swept through the New South Wales town of Bowral, bringing fiction into reality.
I loved Sydney the last time. I didn't know what to expect. It was weird. Like, I grew up watching Home and Away, and I was like, well, I assume it's exactly like Summer Bay everywhere.
So was there some early inspo for an acting career watching Aussie soaps?
Oh, that's genuinely, no joke. My sister and I had a camcorder when I was very young, and we used to recreate scenes from Home and Away. I'm deadly serious. We always used to go, what was the ultimate line? They used to always go, thought I'd find you here. Yeah, thought I'd find you here. Yeah.
What this author knows to be true is that diamonds are not the only gems that sparkle.
Actually keep any of your outfits, Nicola?
No.
I wish.
Not even one?
Not
even a favourite?
No, maybe, hopefully in many years' time when the show's finally finished, I'll be like, give me that one, go on. No, there's some that are
Which one would it be?
Oh, I don't think I can say it's too much of a spoiler this season.
Okay, there's one coming. There's a doozy coming.
Yeah.
I would not recognised everywhere in the world. What do people say to you on
I get a lot of, are you Lady Whistledown? I'm like, oh, I can't tell. But then as season 3 is approaching, it's gotten a lot more like, I can't wait to see the spicy scenes, and you go, okay, I'm not sure.
That's a weird thing to say to me in person.
Yeah, but it says it happens all the time now, so.
Are there spicy scenes?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
It's super romantic. It's dramatic. It's suspenseful. It's funny.
It feels very appropriate to their story.
Speculation over what the new season will bring could rival the gossip column integral to the show's plot. And fans can be sure the latest intrigue from Lady Whistledown promises to please.
A lot of people think, oh, she's doing it for nefarious reasons, but I'm like, there's a supply and demand thing there because the town are hungry for gossip, and they all gossip anyway, but she's the one that's smart enough to capitalise on it.
As a journalist, Lady Whistledown is a fascinating character to me, and we now know, spoiler alert, that you are she.
Yes.
What's your opinion of journalists as you play one?
We meet, like, it's wild how many journalists we do meet, hundreds and hundreds. But then it's like the thrill of meeting someone that asks, like, developed questions and considered questions, and they've really watched it and thought, like, because also, you know, it's an extension of what we do. I think we do it because we're fascinated by human nature to act, and then, you know, a really great journalist will just hone in and find stuff, and it means you can have just this great conversation.
Have I done that today?
You're wonderful. I'm very happy to see you again
last night as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm going to go out walking on air now.
It's a husband.
There's never enough salacious gossip on the set of Bridgerton, though.
There's not.
Although I gave you some good stuff the other night.
Yeah. You know, when Nicola and I first met, season 1, we came into the dance studio, and I hadn't read the book at this point. And she was like, we were like, oh, this is going to be our story together. Like, that's so cool. Like, at some point, we'll get to do it. And then she was like, I'm Whistledown, by the way. And I was like, no.
Too excited to say.
Yeah.
No, I've just realised who the true Whistledown is on set. It's always the drivers. The drivers know the tea. Always. If you want the gossip, that's who you need to go
like,
to.
they'll know when we're starting next season before we do.
100% they will. Yeah. But it's the coolest thing, and sometimes if people meet me and they go, what do you do? And like, I can honestly go, oh, I job share with Julie Andrews. You know, it's a pretty nice thing to be able to say.
I read each one per each season.
Yes,
so I
same.
feel like, so I've done up to 3, so yeah, at some point.
Yeah, I've done 1, 2, and 4 as well.
Yeah.
When we know what next season is, then I will start to read it, yeah. I'm a bit of an Eloise.
Yeah.
I feel like I do,
I feel like a lot of people
find an issue and I'm like, no, this, da-da-da-da-da. Claudia and I always joke that I'm more Eloise and she's more Penelope in real life.
Maybe if I was going out with the brothers, probably Benedict. I like his, like, relaxed, carefree, likes a joke. Sometimes I think he's funnier than Colin. It really annoys me.
He's not funnier. He's
Yeah.
the funnier one.
But anyway, maybe Benedict. I can't think of anyone else. I don't want anyone else. I want Colin.
Okay.
Sorry.
Luke, I want to talk about the transformation of Colin. Is there like a boot camp for leading man for Bridgerton? Like,
No.
how does it happen?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think, you know, I really lent into the scripts as soon as I got season 3. Like, it wasn't really something I thought about during season 2 at all, even though we knew that we were preparing for it. And then as soon as I got the scripts and I kind of saw that he'd had this change and really had grown up and become a man, I was like, how can I just match that physically as well as play that within the character emotionally and everything? So yeah, I just wanted to have everything aligned and feel like there was a drastic change when he comes back to town. And it was great to work with all the other departments like hair and makeup and costume to really like accentuate that. And you know, we both had our moments of like,
yeah,
really...
It makes you feel like a lot different from what we were wearing in seasons 1 and 2, where like quite overdone. Like he had his like big neckties, and I had my crazy yellow dresses and all of that stuff. So it does. You do walk different. You hold yourself differently. All of that stuff.
Do you think that there is something very specific about the friends to lover trope that fits with your characters? You know, like is this the time for the rom-com sort of trope, and you know the other ones haven't been, perhaps?
Yeah, I think it like just goes with the history of their journey and like what audiences have experienced. You know, we've watched them from season 1. You know, there's that history that we speak about in season 3 when they first met. But then when you first see them in season 1 and they sort of have a little joke together and they're always kind of like gossiping in the corner, making each other laugh, but there's that initial spark. And I think that's what fans have kind of latched onto, of like, oh, there's an immediate interest there. We can see that. There's like a connection between them. And then we've had to follow it for all this time. So that's why it just feels really satisfying that we finally get to play out every which way it could possibly go before getting to that point. Yeah, it's great fun. Beautiful.
Last question. I'm a massive rom-com fan. Like, it's my favorite genre in the world. So that's one of the reasons why I love Bridgerton and I'm so excited about this season. Have there been any of the classic rom-com films that you have, you know, maybe thought of as inspiration for this season, or even just that you've gone back to watch?
Strangely enough, we did some pickup scenes in December, like just last December, and I started to rewatch some rom-coms in the lead up to doing that. And it was like When Harry Met Sally was a big one that I just was like that is such an epic friends to lovers, and it is sort of like Penn and Colin, like two underdogs, not the coolest ones in the room. Sort of just finally seeing each other, like, it's so good.
I love, one of my favourite films is Notting Hill. And just like, I kind of love, like, I wanted to have a little bit of that essence of, you know, Hugh Grant when he's kind of like, it's really charming, but he's kind of a bit bumbling, like a bumbling idiot, and just like trying to. So it was like a gift to be able to reshoot a couple of those scenes and put some new scenes in and like play like the heightened rom-com in that. So it was good fun. Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to wrap this up now. Those are my two favorite rom-coms. So that I couldn't have planned that better, you know.
I love that.
I'm thrilled by that.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. Just a pleasure to meet you.
A pleasure to speak to you.